Well, all was quiet until um, I started reading this my book that I have to finish. Almost done. It's called Falsification of African Consciousness: Eurocentric History, Psychiatry, and the Politics of White Supremacy by uh, Amos Wilson, Dr. Amos Wilson. And so this is what they don't want us, particularly TIs, to have, which is knowledge, right? Which is a true sense of being, understanding the reality that we live in, because they have too many people conditioned with a delusional state of mind, right? A mind that is uh, conditioned and created by white supremacy. So whether you're white, black, Asian, uh, you know, Latin, what have you, you we all have that built in into our psyche. The the idea or the belief in white supremacy. Now, some of us may not be conscious of it. Actually, the majority is not conscious of it, right? And those that are able to become aware and shift their way of thinking, change their way of thinking. So, when I talk about things that happened to me as a TI and as a black man and also as black people, I understand, and I've said this before, I said we all have been lied to, whether you're black, white, red, yellow, green, whatever, purple, you know, um, whatever color you are, right? Whatever color you want to call yourself. Okay? We all have been lied to. And the you as a TI, or just as a person who is trying to understand the truth, right? And searching and researching the truth, right? Where this is what they don't want you to do. Okay, Frederick Douglass said uh, that a man who is educated, a man who have knowledge or gain knowledge, is unfit to be a slave. And not he doesn't just mean that physically, but also psychologically, mentally, right? And so again, this is why it's important when I do the videos that I do. I talk about certain things that happen historically, because we need to understand that things that happen in the past always repeats itself. And the reason why, particularly the negative things, and particularly why it always repeats itself, because the state, right? You had the Romans, you had the Greeks, you had the Romans, you had um, others, the Spaniards, um, the dramatic tribes, all that stuff. Those that are in the higher level of society, right, tend to want to remain at the top, and therefore, in order for them to do that, they have to create division, right? They have to create division, not also that, but they have to create a belief system of indoctrination, right, which prevent your mind, right, from looking at things in a realistic manner, right? So we have to understand this is not new. Again, experimentation on human beings is not new. Um, Brainwashing is not new. Okay, and like I said, the one thing they don't want you to do, particularly as a black person and particularly as black people, they don't want us reading stuff like this. Okay, this is one of our brilliant uh, doctors who was a psychiatrist, right? A psychologist, or what have you, who studied, who studied the system of white supremacy. You have also Neely Fuller, um, who has a book called The 100 Propensatory Code for Black People. Um, excuse me. And you have Dr. John Henrik Clark, Dr. Ben Jacobin, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, all of these scholars, right, that we have been removed from knowing, right? When I say removed from knowing, meaning that there was a war against our scholar. Okay, I'm talking about black people now, against our scholars, who, just as how you have uh, white scholars studying black people, in which they can, in the 50s, they were putting out videos how to sell to the Negro, right? You remember they had us in cages, right? They had us in cages, right? In zoos, okay? That was not that long ago, right? That was not that long ago, okay? So they have studied us, they have studied our psychological state as being African people, and they've also studied our state on the system of white supremacy, how we have been indoctrinated. So we ourselves, or what I call Negropeans, right? And I no longer, you know, belong in that category because I've kind of shift my way of thinking to more Afrocentric and in a more realistic manner, right? But the majority of black people in this country, as well as all over the diaspora, as well as in Africa, their mind have been removed from them, right? And they were given something else. So in this book, you know, makes you understand a lot of things, right? And also in the 50s, you had Frank Phantom, right, who wrote the book. He wrote two books called The Wretched Earth, and the other book that I have is called uh, Black Skin, White Mask. All right. So again, um, for me, in terms of my targeting and how they try to prevent me from uh, these sort of information, they've tried, but they haven't succeeded, right? Because the more that they target me, and the more that they show me that they don't want me to know certain things, is the more I want to know it. Okay, and because again, in the Coercive Persuasion Program, and one of the things that is one of their criterias is to limit you from accessing or knowing certain information. And like I said, you know, yeah, as TIs, we're being attacked like this on a more one-on-one personal level. But guess what? Other, larger groups of people in society are attacked in that manner. It may not be one-on-one, but systematically. And it may not be as aggressive in terms of the frequency, right? But it is through the educational system, it is through the medical system, it is through the psychiatric institutions, it is through the penal system, it is through um, housing. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot uh, that people deal with, not just as black people, but understand this, that white supremacy is for the oppression and the suppression of mainly black people, right? Africans, okay? So black Africans, I should say. So this is how I've shifted some of uh, the information that I have been studying. I've done enough research on the technology, which I'm going to do a very very detailed video, right? In which I will show all the documents and stuff like that, and you know, but it is important that we, as YTS too. Listen, the fact that they have black people targeting you guys as well, right? Is it tells you two things. One, they're trying to increase or they're trying to make you hate black people, right? Because we kind of have as individuals, particularly in living under white supremacy, where color is a major factor, right? If you are a white person being targeted by black people, particular, right, what I call ethnic targeting, you will sometimes, because they want you to hate black people. Same thing as a black person when they particularly have when they're using particular like white people to target you primarily, because that's how it was for me in the beginning of my targeted. I realized that, like I said, because I read up a lot. I was like I said, they're trying to make me hate white people, right? But like I said, I'm also being attacked by black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, right? And then sometimes they'll just attack me with just one particular group. So whether it be primary, not to say that it's only those people, but it will be primarily those groups of people, right? So understand what it is that they're doing and how they try to create that hate within you. But I do this, and this is what I do. I always say, if you're going to engage in any type of behavior that is detrimental to my way of being, into my life and myself, right? So if you're a racist and you hit me because I'm black, then guess what? I'm not gonna love you. This ain't no uh, um, love your neighbor type shit. Particularly if your neighbor hates you. If you come with hate, you're gonna get hit back. So like I said, simple as that. If you come with love, you're gonna get love. If you come with care and concern, you're gonna get care and concern back, right? Because we as black people, we cannot continue to be brutalized, to be discriminated against, and keep thinking that it's okay to not do anything about it. That it's okay to just march up and down the street. All right. Listen, white Americans uh, don't even believe that shit. Because if they believe it and they believe in their God, or have you, since this nation was a Christian nation, right? They say, Father, don't. That's what they. But again, it's a lie. Then they could have loved the people who were treating them bad, but they didn't. What they do, they got their guns and arms, what have you, and they fought, right? And then when certain groups of people in this country wanted to keep people as slaves, again, others people say, no, you can't, right? And they fought against each other, right? So understand, right, how they're using this program to create division and hate amongst us as a people and as groups within the broader society. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go continue reading my book, and I'm going to uh, probably by tomorrow have enough information from this book and a couple of others, as well as some articles, to where I can finish my PowerPoint presentation, and then I'll do a video on it. Okay, and I'm just gonna ask you guys to just give me some feedback on what you think. Whether it be negative or positive, it doesn't really matter as long as you're being respectful. Um, I'd appreciate that, because it is my uh, duty, right? Not just for myself and for my family and my kids, but also to you and your family and your kids, that this is exposed, and exposed in the right way. Well, I shouldn't say right way, but exposed in a way that when I expose it, and I'm exposing it, that that you get it, right, that you understand. Okay. And so going forward, when I do these presentations, I'll do these videos, not in this form. This is just for me, just me just talking. But when I do my presentations, I'll try to do it in a PowerPoint format, which will include the links and that you guys can go to. Okay, and the links will be in the video, so you might have to pause the video and uh, you know uh, write it down or have you. Or if I remember, I'll try to put it in the description. If I remember, I'm not promising anything, right? So again, I'll go back to my reading. Like I said, as soon as it was quiet for about a good 2 hours, right? And then as soon as I picked up this book to start reading, they started with the noise campaign again, right? Didn't take them long. It's like I'm like, do they have the fire truck park up around the corner of my block? You know what I'm saying? Because this is how quick that they're responding, right, to what I'm doing. Okay, and I know where the fire station is at. Okay, all right. It don't take them a minute, right, to come and drive down this block if I'm leaving the firehouse. Okay, so yeah. All right. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video.